Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Kenny,
I'm Shanika.
and today we're talking about
Today we're going to be talking about the lockdown, our lockdown experiences. We've experienced now two,
going into the
going
third.
into what it will be the third lockdown very soon. And well, maybe actually by the time this video comes out, we will be.
Yeah.
But Kenny, so tell me about how was your experience in the first lockdown?
So the first lockdown, it seemed very surreal. Really, it was having never experienced anything like it.
Yeah.
Parents that had never experienced it. There's no way to get any sort of experience from any insights.
I think the kind of general vibe was it almost felt slightly warlike.
I do remember there was a lot of conflict going on because I think Denmark had agreed that they were going to pay furlough to their population.
Yeah.
UK hadn't, so it was like, okay, is it going to be a war zone? Is everybody going to have to kind of tack into their savings, and how long I was already starting to calculate how long was I going to be able to live for sustainably for
Totally.
without completely emptying my saving accounts. And then I remember German was the next that I paid attention to, that we're going to pay furlough, and then UK joined in, so that kind of relieved.
So would you say that one of your biggest concerns going into the lockdown was the financial kind of aspect?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 2 kids, husband, house. If you don't have a job, how much is my furlough going to be? Is it going to cover all of my expenses? Is it not? Am I going to have to get furlough and then top it up with my own savings?
Yeah.
All these things. 100%.
Yeah, totally. And I would say even for me, so obviously Kenny, you have a family, you have kids, you have a mortgage. It's
Yeah.
like a huge thing. And I think for a lot of people that was a kind of real scary aspect of this pandemic, is the financial insecurity.
Yeah.
Myself on the other hand, obviously I have a lot less kind of things that
Outgoings.
Yeah, a lot less outgoings. At the time I was living at home and these kinds of things.
Perfect.
But I think a large kind of thing for me is I was kind of looking after a lot of the other people within my family financially, and kind of, although I knew I was going to be okay, there was this kind of like underlying stress and a bit of like guilt, like I'm kind of 25, like I don't really want to be relying on other people. What am I going to do to try and make it through these couple of months before the furlough scheme was announced? Because I really had this real kind of stress that I didn't want to have to ask for help.
Fair enough.
And
No,
I think
can understand
I found that quite stressful. And I knew that actually, I think it was just the uncertainty of how long this was going to be.
Exactly.
Because I knew, okay, I can make it through maybe like 1-2 months.
Yeah, because we didn't know if it was going to be 1, 2, 3, or even 6. Like, people started to talk mad about all this.
Yeah, and it was like every 2 weeks was like another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. And I had already been out about a week because I had gotten some COVID symptoms, but actually the symptoms I had weren't on the COVID list.
Yeah.
And then my mum had gotten some COVID symptoms, and then that was when I was like, okay, I spoke to my chef and I was like, look, my mum has some symptoms, because I'd lost taste and smell was like the main ones.
Yeah.
And that was honestly scary. As a chef,
you've lost all your weapons.
I was thinking, I've got to change my life. I've got to change my whole career. I genuinely was like thinking, what am I gonna do?
All you've got left is just texture.
Yeah, it was totally that. And I had that 5-course dinner.
Yeah.
And it was the most amazing thing.
Based on texture.
Based on texture.
Based on texture. Soft, crunchy.
Yeah. So.
But then the second lockdown
Yeah.
recently, 2nd of November. 2nd November to the 2nd December. It's funny because I think ultimately everybody's kind of starting to think, okay, some believe and some don't, and some just kind of want to get over it. And then it's like second lockdown is like, if you're doing well financially and your furlough covers all your bills and there's a little bit left and you can stay with family and focus on the things that are important to you. The second the second lockdown is just like a present.
Yeah,
it didn't feel, there was no strain, and we'd gone through it already, so you kind of knew, you had experience now. You knew what was coming,
and I was looking forward to it in a way.
Secretly, you don't want to admit it, but then other people are doing the same, and it's like,
because I think, at least what I found was, so when we did go back to work, there was a lot of people who had suffered quite a lot during the first one, emotionally, was the kind of the main thing.
Yeah.
Like people got quite depressed and stuff like this, but I really enjoyed it. It was a kind of like a welcome break
Yeah.
for me, and I recovered, I slept, you know, I had time to think. I'd made my relationship official in this time.
Yeah.
It was a really good time for me. And I had time to focus on family and rebuilding those kind of relationships that were maybe a bit more broken. And so the second one, I was well up for it. I was so up for it. I was primed and ready. I had my pajamas ready, Netflix in the go.
And the exercise routines were already just kind of continuing where you
Yeah.
left off from the first one.
No, this one I didn't even bother.
What?
I didn't even bother this time.
Huh?
I just like checked my weight. I made sure I didn't put on any weight, but I didn't like do any major exercise. Occasionally I picked
Fair
up a kettlebell, but that was about it.
I feel like I scrutinized it. I really got a routine. I got a kettlebell cycle going on, a strength cycle going on,
Yeah.
and there was some running in between. And then before the second lockdown, I had joined the ladies' rugby team.
Yeah.
And I think that was more because the first one, you know, you're not allowed to socialize. So it's like, okay, after not socializing for so long, you go back to work. It's like, okay, now I'm definitely going to go into a team sport to make sure I'm socializing with other people.
So do you feel that the lockdown made you understand the importance of your relationships with other people more?
100%, and also what I need to tick, because when everything is stripped away and it's taken away from you, you really get to, you know, put the layers back on, but the ones that matters.
Yeah, and I think that was the crucial thing for most people, is that they really honed in on what are the kind of bare minimums to make you happy.
Yeah.
And then you don't need that much, and that at the core of it, at least for me, were like relationships, like kind of enough money to feel happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
And to like focus on, like, if this ever happened again, like I have that and I don't need to even feel like I need to rely on furlough or whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to build that kind of sum of money.
But also the mentioning of that, the sum of money that you got from furlough made you kind of realize, okay, with this less money that I have,
what do you really need?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
and then so now that you've honed it in and you've got this little amount of money versus what you had before, and you're still covering what you need to,
Yeah.
anything that you build on top of that can kind of just go towards your wealth.
Yeah, totally.
And then learning to live, you know, within your means.
Frugally.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
forces you to do that.
Yeah, and I think people were more happy.
Because they had what really mattered.
Yeah.
We were forced to focus on what really mattered.
And I think at the end that was the real lesson from this lockdown. I genuinely think with all the negatives that came out of it, there were some genuine positives. You know, obviously a lot of people have lost their lives, and you know,
True.
we need to really focus on the reasons why this was a necessary thing for society,
Yeah.
and still is. And you know, we want to just emphasize, you know, to stay safe,
Yeah.
wear a mask and wash your hands and all these things. But at the end, you know, there is a silver lining, and you
Yeah.
know,
What I would really like is to hear what you guys have got to say. So in the comments below, you know, give us your story. Tell us how you've gone through it. So that we get a better perspective, because right now it's just the people that we work with or families.
Yeah.
It would be nice to hear other people's story as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like on that note, you know,
we can
we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
see you. Bye.